This house has some significant structural problems. We've got a house right now that is leaning. The whole house is leaning. The floors, we're talking up to 5 or 6 inches of slope to the floors. And these people are being told that it's perfectly fine and the house was built that way. This is the kind of stuff that makes me mad.
And the issue that Preston is pointing out here is that home inspectors have connections with real estate agents sometimes, and the real estate agent in a lot of cases doesn't want to have a deal killer. So the question would be, how did they find the original inspector? But kudos to the agent for calling Preston in and doing a further analysis. This episode is brought to you by Sachs Realty.education, where you can find my Todd Simple Home Buying course that teaches home buyers how to save money and avoid costly mistakes when buying a house. One of the best protections that you can have as a home buyer buying a house is to have a home inspection. But that doesn't stop there. You need to make sure that you're hiring the right inspector, which means that as a buyer, if you're getting that referral from your agent, you still need to do your own due diligence. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the reasons why you need that great inspector.
I'm very animated right now, and I want to show you why. This is the second time in the last year and a half that I have heard a listing agent tell a client, a potential buyer, that they got a report from a good home inspector in the area saying nothing's wrong with this house. Let me show you this place. This is one of the most significant problems that I've seen in my career. Walked into this house, and the first thing that I noticed up here, let me see if I can get you guys to see that, is a crack in the wall. But that isn't your typical diagonal crack coming off the corner, like your typical minor settlement crack. That ain't it. If you look at that crack right there, and then you come over here, and you look at this crack right here running up the wall, this crack right here at the door, and you'll see it's kind of a step crack that runs all the way up to the ceiling. Over to this archway, we've got this crack, which mirrors right to this separation crack right here. And then that separation crack turns into this ceiling crack, which runs all the way along that wall. But here's the more significant part that we see. Check this out. We've got that crack running all the way down that wall. Should look at how unlevel this house is. And I'm going to tell you what a home inspector wrote in a report that these guys have in their hands right now. We got the laser level starting over there in that corner. Look how significant the sloping of this floor is. Over here, we're about 11 inches off the floor. Over here, we're only about 6 inches. 5 inches of slope to this living room floor.
Well, maybe that is within a 12 or 14 foot span. So that's a major issue. And Preston is actually somebody that we have connected with through one of our viewers and a mutual viewer. We have several videos that will be coming out with Preston going over the home inspection process. And the issue that Preston is pointing out here is that home inspectors have connections with real estate agents sometimes, and the real estate agent in a lot of cases doesn't want to have a deal killer. Now, here's a situation where the inspector that initially inspected this house said it was okay or a good house. Now, but clearly he's finding out otherwise.
And this is where it gets really good. I'm standing here with the buyers, and I'm standing here with the realtor, who are to remain anonymous for now. And I'm letting them know how angry I am because, frankly, the inspection report that they got, in my opinion, is fraud. It's absolute, unequivocal fraud, and I'm going to show you right now. And this wall is leaning this direction. This is not plumb or level, and it gets more pronounced. I don't know if I can come down here and you'll be able to see it. But you can see that wall right there is leaning that direction. Now, this is where it's interesting. I could sidelight and I can show you right here where there is a horizontal crack with displacement that has been parge coated. They've done the parging over this. But look, you've got new cracking in the parge coating. That means the house is continuing to move. You come over here, this whole wall has been completely repaired. All of it. This has all been repaired, but you can see a crack right there. That's a big crack in the wall. And this is masonry. This is CMU. This is block masonry. And you can see where the repair stops right here.
So probably what's happening is there's hydrological pressure that is behind that wall, probably from moisture that is pushing in the wall, and it's compromising the whole structure of the house. And what we may be looking at is what's called a latent defect. So when a seller is selling a house, they have to disclose to a buyer if there are any known latent defects. And when we're looking at the parging that has been done and the painting that is over top of the parging, what really could be concerning is that the seller may have been trying to hide this crack. And a latent defect is actually something that a seller knows about that they have covered up and that a typical or normal home inspection would not identify or wouldn't pick up. And the importance for sellers to not do something like that, especially just to sell the house, is that these types of cover-ups can really come back to bite you.
Up that wall or up this floor. And this is where all that settlement is. What happened here is there's been significant structural movement. There has been significant settlement. This house has some significant structural problems. We've got a house right now that is leaning. The whole house is leaning. The foundation is settled. The floors, we're talking up to 5 or 6 inches of slope to the floors. And these people are being told that it's perfectly fine and the house was built that way. This is the kind of stuff that makes me mad. That's why I'm so animated, because they called me over to look at this and we're like, here's the report.
One of the things that I teach you in my Todd Simple Home Buying course is that when you're buying a house, you need a team of people around you to protect you and make sure that you're not buying a problem. And hiring a home inspector is a very important part of your team. As a buyer, you may not know a home inspector. I mean, why would you? And you probably don't even know what they do. So it's not uncommon to say to your real estate agent after you're under contract for the house and you're in an inspection or a contingency period, it's not uncommon for your real estate agent to provide somebody that they work with that has done inspections for them in the past. So a couple of things. If you're going to buy a house, do some research and call the home inspector that you want to hire and ask them several questions. Number one, you want to know what kind of experience that they have. You want to know what their Google reviews say about them. And you want to make sure that you're there during the home inspection. And the question you want to ask the home inspection company before you hire them is, can you follow them around throughout the entire inspection process? Now, a lot of home inspectors want to go through the house and give you a summary at the very end. So an agent may even tell you, you don't have to be there at the beginning of the home inspection, that you could just wait to the end of the inspection when the inspector will give you the summary. You want to be there. You want to understand exactly what they're looking at and get their reaction and ask any questions that you might have based on what you see with your own eyes as they're doing the inspection.
Here's in that room is the living room where that wall crack was. And you come down here and what do we see? Right there, a crack in exactly the same spot. How's that look to you? Look like they built it that way?
So the question would be, how did they find the original inspector? But kudos to the agent for calling Preston in and doing a further analysis.
I'm here today at this inspection. And my client, who's a TikTok follower, also told me the realtors were not happy I was doing this one. They tried to get her to choose somebody else. She said, no, I want Preston to do it. So let me tell you, to all the realtors out there, when you don't want me to do an inspection, it doesn't make me go easier on the house. I break out my microscope. We have a chimney here. Let me show you something very interesting. I was standing right here. I don't know if you guys notice, but these bricks are angled downhill. And I was looking, there was a crack right there, but it doesn't really explain why these bricks are slanted down. But if you look out here, you'll also notice the chimney is kind of leaning outward. And then as you look up, you start to see it curve right there.
And you can see where the chimney was actually separating from the house, and they used mortar to fill in the gap.
Pronounced from this side. Right up there. And now I know why the realtors didn't want me doing this inspection. They were hoping to get somebody in here. Couldn't see very well. Doesn't have good eyesight.
All right, guys, so let's just take you through a pre-close inspection and show you some of the things that we're finding on this one. Now, please make sure you are shutting and locking all your doors numerous times, your exterior and your interior doors, because you can see on this one, that door doesn't even latch. So this right here shouldn't even be on there. It's just for looks. You got to use your deadbolt at all times with this builder. Over here, you can see where the actual seal has actually broken here. That has fallen out from up top here. So that seal is already damaged. So it will not be long before this window starts to fog. That was probably like that when they put it in and they said, heck with it.
So a lot of times when doors don't shut, they could be faulty installation, or it just could be that the strike isn't matching up to catch the door. That may be a minor adjustment. But what he's talking about with the window, and we see this a lot, windows are filled with argon gas, and they're double pane windows nowadays. And what happens is when that seal breaks, the window becomes foggy. So if you're going through a house, you want to look at the windows and see if they're cloudy. It may not just be a dirty window. It may be that the seal was broke in the window, so you've lost your energy efficiency, and you've also lost the clarity when you're looking outside. Now, that can be fixed, and a lot of times it's a matter of taking it to somewhere to have it repaired, but there are also companies that will come out to your house and fix that window while it's, right on site. So a lot of times you'd have to drop that sash off to a window repair company, and then you have a hole, and you have to put either cardboard or plastic or some type of covering so that rainwater doesn't come in. It may take a couple of days before you can pick that window back up and put it back inside.
Out your refrigerator. Look at that. Looks good from here, right? Maybe this buyer's got a peg leg and he's off balanced a little bit. I don't know. But check this out. Because of the hump in his floor right here, this door is extremely hard to open, which is ridiculous. But come on out. Let's check out the outside. Damaged concrete right there, going right into your kitchen. And you have
And I think the important thing to take away here is that he's referring the builder. So obviously he's inspecting a new house, which is very important when you're buying a new house to also have a third-party inspector, because the builder's quality control person or the county inspector may not pick up on things that your independent inspector will do. So make sure when you're buying a house, they're going to ask you, probably part of your contract, if you are planning to have a third-party inspector inspect the house prior to settlement.
As we come around here, make sure that the tops of these columns, you may need to get a mirror, you may need to bring a ladder, you may need to ask your superintendent to have a ladder, but the tops of these are wide open. They need to be sealed up so you don't get pest infestation up there. And right here in this one area, we got a few write-ups I'm going to show you guys. So your service entry right here should have a clamp on it. This should be clamped to the house. This outlet right here is not GFCI protected. All exterior outlets need to be GFCI protected. They have tap cons in here, okay? Over on the switch right here for your well pump, they put in interior screws. Look at that. So they're already starting to rust there. You could see that. But this liquid tie right here, you can see this liquid tie carries your electrical lines. So it's going from this switch right here out to your well pump. This line right here, anything over 6 feet has to be supported and strapped every 3 feet and then 1 foot from the fixture.
And these are things that you would have expected that a municipal inspector, as part of the building inspection process, would catch these things. But when you're buying new construction, you have to understand that if it's in a subdivision, there are a lot of houses being built. And a lot of times the inspectors for the county or the city, they're just being lazy and they will pass something without even thoroughly inspecting it themselves. Again, supporting the need to have a third-party independent inspector when you're buying a new home. So the bottom line is, when you're buying a house, do not waive your right to a home inspection. Remember, guys, for your protection, get a home inspection. If you like the video, you can let us know by smashing that thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you have the alert bell on, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, I just wanted to take a brief minute and share some exciting news. I have just released my new Todd Simple home buying course. This course is designed for anyone wanting to know how to buy a home. It's designed to take you through the entire home buying process from start to finish. You'll learn how to represent yourself should you want to avoid paying real estate commissions, the best ways to shop for a home, how to avoid costly mistakes, what to look for when touring a home, negotiation tactics, and so much more. In this home buying course, I hold nothing back. In fact, I would go to say that no one has uncovered the home buying process like I have. I've even made a way for you to gift this course to your family and friends. Visit sacsrealty.education. The link is also pinned in the comments below. Sachs Realty, Maryland broker number 607720, office number 443-318-4514, equal housing opportunity.